All right, guys, back at my desk again to talk about a new product release from Rogue. You guys seem to like the last video, so I want to do a video on this, the Rogue RM44 4-Mono, 4-post monolift. That's a lot of fours, but one four this is not is for you. You like that? I thought that was pretty good. I just came up with that on the fly. Kudos to me, my friends. But I wanted to talk about this because I actually mentioned it in the last video on the product release I talked about with the CB4 Cambered Buffalo Bar, mentioning this as something that Rogue has been using or teasing and saying that they probably wouldn't ever bring it to market. Well, I was wrong. They've brought it to market, and by golly, it is expensive. $6,000 before shipping and tax. After shipping and tax, to me, where I live in Rhode Island, around $6,700. So very expensive, but I've been seeing a lot of people comment on this since it was released and mentioned yesterday, April 18th, and I just kind of want to talk a little bit about it and my thoughts and why I actually think that this is a fairly good deal and it offers some competitive differentiation to what is on the market now. Now, in order to understand that, though, we have to talk about context of this bad boy. A monolift, in general, is not for home gym use. And even though most people kind of associate Rogue with probably the premier home gym outfitter, if you will, I don't think we can really argue the fact that this is probably one of the most popular brands when it comes to building your own home gym. Not everything they have is for a home gym. They do a lot of facility outfitting as well. For instance, you can buy in bulk things like rowers, air bikes, flooring, some rigs with like 8 workout stations per rig. So they have more than just the home gym. But one of the things why I like Rogue personally is that they literally have something for everybody. So regarding if you're a bodybuilder, a CrossFitter, a power lifter, general strength trainer, whatever the case may be, chances are they probably have something for you. But to be honest, up until recently, they haven't had anything that would really cater directly to people who would either compete in like multiply or maybe even in some cases, some strongman events, which this specific monolift was used for. In fact, up until recently, they were actually selling the Westside Mammoth monolift, as you can see here. Price listed is about $5,100. Very, very basic monolift. After shipping and tax, this would cost you roughly $6,000. So for $700 more, you could actually get the Rogue version. Now, some other things with this particular ones that I want to call out. Again, it's key to understand context because people just see that price of $6,000 and assume it's expensive, which it is. But in context of monolifts, I think it's kind of right in line for what you get. So first, let's take a look at some of the competition to see what else is out there. If I pull up the Elite FTS, I'm going to pull up their very basic version. And I'm not having anything in my cart. That's fine. I should have done a little bit better planning. But for the very basic Elite FTS monolift, you're looking at $4,200. So this one does not have band pegs, anything like that. It's your standard typical monolift. After shipping and taxes, it's actually going to cost you around $5,200, or at least it would to me, shipped in Rhode Island. So again, about $1,500 off from what the Rogue version is. And I think you can tell that there's a substantial difference between what you get out of these two monolifts. Now with Elite FTS, who I believe Williams Strength makes all of their equipment when it comes to a lot of this stuff, they do have some other options. So we can then take a look at some of these other options here, like the Deluxe monolift, which would be the step up for $400 more. You get things like band pegs, you get a little bit more customization perhaps, $4,600 before taxes and delivery, after which you're looking at $6,200. So this one is a lot more expensive to ship and move and is only, in reality, $500 less than, again, the Rogue version that you would get here. So the playing field is starting to get leveled out a little bit. Now, if we want to go to their signature monolift, which is their top of the line, the signature series, you get a lot more options. You get some posts here where you can actually mount some spotter arms. You have some plate storage as well. List price, $7,100. Shipping and tax, $8,800. So about $2,000 more than the Rogue equivalent. So again, just kind of trying to set the stage to let you know that even though for sure this isn't going to be really a home gym use case, in fact, I think I can count on one finger the amount of people I know who have a monolift in their house, and that is the CFO, I believe, of Elite FTS. He has one in his basement of all places. But for the most part, these are things that are going to go in a facility, especially one that's more geared towards strongman and or equipped and multiply lifting. So it's not something for the normal use case. So out of context, yes, extremely expensive, overkill, no need in your home. in context for the people who are going to use it. I actually think pricing wise, very competitively priced at the end of the day. And I think there's some sweet options here that you don't get from some of the other things. Namely, this comes in its own 4-post rack. So if you take a look at most Monolift designs, it's almost like a squat stand, I guess you could say, where it has 2 uprights, obviously a base. It has the hooks and the monolifts and everything that you're probably used to. If you're used to this at all, if you don't know what a monolift is, you shouldn't be watching this video because it's just going to seem expensive and out of place. But the traditional monolift design hasn't changed much over the years, right? All these things look very, very similar. There's some little bit of differences, like I said, band pegs here or there, or in the case of the signature model, getting some things like spotter arms and things of that nature. But for the most part, the monolift has been the same design in its entirety of existence. This one being 4 posts, I think offers some great versatility. Namely, number one, the first thing I want to call out is the safety option. So you could use things here like safety straps, which you couldn't really do in a traditional monolift. You could hang straps from it, but the way that they worked is something more like this. In this case, this person is using chains, and here's an Elite FTS model. This is going to show you an example of what it's like to fail on a monolift. And with this, straps and chains can work potentially, but I've also seen some pretty big fails with this, which it doesn't really look pretty. So dropping here, the bar can shift really easily based off of how things are set up. So it doesn't really look great overall, right? Here, using safety straps, you can adjust them to the height that you need, and it's going to be fully enclosed in the system. What I mean by that is if we take a look at the signature monolift where you can still get spotter arms, this has a problem that I have with a lot of squatting in half racks or squat stands, that if you're squatting and you tend to dump the bar behind you, depending on where you set up, you do have the chance of completely missing these arms. Or if you're putting it right towards the back where it's still going to catch, because the feet are right in line with it, the monolift can still tip and move all over the place, as you saw in that video. So although it is a safety feature, it doesn't always mean that it's still safe. So having a 4-post design here, I like. You could actually set up multiple ways to be saved here. So you could have, the actual straps, you could put pin safeties below it, you can put arms across the bottom, whatever you want. You could double up, triple up, really make sure that you're safe here. The other addition here is the fact that this is using those 4-post or 4-hole designs. So if you take a look at the signature monolift, obviously they have some stuff here where you can have spotter arms, and they have stuff where you can put on the actual weight plates in the back. You could do the same with this, but you have more versatility in where those things go. In fact, you could even add, arms out front, J-cups out front. You can make this a multiple use case station. You could put weight pegs, weight storage, wherever you want. You can use the top to mount other things. You can get pretty creative with this, and the versatility, I think, considering the price, is going to put this as a top pick, at least for me, if I were going to be adding a monolift into my facility. And again, you get those 4 posts here, which is going to add to the stability and also add to the safety options behind it. Now, one of the reasons you might not want to go this route if you're looking at a monolift, which to be honest, I don't think many of you guys are going to do, is with Rogue. For the most part, they have taken a step back in the customization option, which for a lot of people who are building their own spaces is something that's high up on what they're looking for. So at least with the Elite FTS models, you can choose what frame color you get. You could probably put some of your own branding on here if you want. And that starts with even the cheapest model, right? You get choices of color. In this case, with the deluxe monolift, you could probably get them to change out for your logos here. So you get more options and customizations when it comes to the other models. But I think from a design standpoint, this is definitely a potential improvement and offers, again, more versatility and more bang for your buck within context of the system. So let me know what you think about this Rogue RM44 4-mono 4-post monolift in the comments section below. I'd especially appreciate feedback from people who actually use monolifts in facilities that they've trained at. Otherwise, I'm sure you're just going to say it's overpriced and overexpensive and unneeded, unnecessary. Throw any adjective you want to in there. But that's my thoughts on this new product from Rogue, which I will definitely not be getting into the basement, as it weighs over 1,000 pounds for even the smaller version at 100 inches, and ain't nobody got time for that. In the meantime, as always, thanks for watching and stay big.